Trayvon Martin shooting happened in Florida in 2012. The victim was a 17-year-old African-American high school student who was on his way home from a gas station after buying a bag of Skittles and a drink. During this time, a neighborhood watchman by the name of George Zimmerman confronted Trayvon. After a scuffle, Trayvon was shot in the chest, killing him in one shot. After the shooting, an FBI investigation happened on Zimmerman. After a trial, he was released on bail on a claim of self-defense. After this event, there was outrage throughout America, and shortly after, the Black Lives Matter movement was created in response. They staged protests and riots throughout the country to fight against the racism and prejudice that was seen in this case. This case was very controversial, with some media outlets siding with George Zimmerman and some media outlets siding with Trayvon Martin and his parents.
Now, according to the Orlando Sentinel, Zimmerman told police that Trayvon climbed on top of him and slammed his head into the sidewalk several times, leaving him bloodied and battered and with a broken nose. And his lawyer says that only one side of the story is being reported.
I think when the evidence comes out, it will show that George Zimmerman was acting in self-defense in this case. And when the rest of the evidence comes out, the one fact we do know, and that I can disclose at this point, is that George Zimmerman suffered a broken nose, injuries to the back of his head, and signs of a scuffle, being grass stained on the back of his shirt.
For the first lens, we chose cultural lens. We chose this because many people are claiming George Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin because of the color of his skin. George Zimmerman claimed that he was acting in self-defense when he confronted Trayvon. He says he confronted him because he was acting suspicious or he was on drugs. Some media sources backed his testimony, saying that Trayvon by claiming that he was a drug dealer, with some even going as far as to say he was a thug because of his tattoos. Even though there is no clear evidence of what happened, news sources reported that Trayvon started the confrontation and that he attacked Zimmerman first. This underhanded racism was used by the media to hide the blatant, unjustified shooting that occurred that night. Some news reports highlighted the negative claims against Trayvon Martin and made George Zimmerman look innocent.
This is a major moment in American history, and America's reaching a bit of a boiling point in terms of dealing with this issue. And when we allow misinformation and obfuscation and people to be confused about the truth about what's going on, then we become part of the problem and not part of seeking a solution.
We've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy. The best address I can give you. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining, and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and either jeans or sweatpants and white tennis shoes. He's here now. He was just staring.
Many news sources have compared the Trayvon Martin killing to the Emmett Till killing. Emmett Till was savagely murdered for allegedly flirting with a white woman 4 days before his death. The men who murdered him were the husband and the son of the woman. The 14-year-old Emmett Till was forced to carry a 75-pound cotton gin fan down to a river where he was ordered to take off his clothes. The two men beat him to near death, gouged his eye out, and shot him in the head. After they were done with him, they threw his body in the river. The two men were tried by an all-white jury, and they were found innocent and got away with the racist murdering scot-free. This event happened when segregation was still prevalent in 1955, and it was a driving force to the civil rights movement in the 1960s. The Emmett Till killing and the Trayvon Martin killing both magnify the deep-rooted racism in our country, even being half a century apart from each other. The similarities in the two unjust killings have proved that history, in fact, can and does repeat itself.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. I'll let them know to call you when they're in the area.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Do you need police, fire, medical?
Maybe both. I'm not sure. There's just someone screaming outside.
Okay. And is it a male or female?
It sounds like a male.
And you don't know why?
I don't know why. I think they're yelling help, but I don't know. Just send someone quick. Say stop.
Okay. Does he look hurt to you?
I can't see him. I don't want to go out there. I don't know what's going on. So they're sending.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
All right, what is your phone number?
Just there's gunshots.
You just heard gunshots?
Yes.
How many?
This one.
My main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And, you know, I think they are right to expect that all of us as Americans are going to take this with the seriousness it deserves, and that we're going to get to the bottom of exactly what happened.